I left a jacket up on a hunt, but I'm here at the Reicheses and getting ready to go. Getting ready to go get my jacket. Maybe I'll get lucky and hear a bull. Basically fasted all day. Had a little bit of food, but I'm trying to melt off the last pounds. The scale is a cruel taskmaster, but I'd much rather have this lifestyle than the lifestyle I had last year, which was just sitting around feeling sorry for myself. People say quit blaming. Listen, I take fault for what I've done. I'm just saying that I'm not the only one who's done wrong. And I'm allowed to move on. And that's it. No one, everybody wants to define you by your worst moments. That's the whole joke about the bridge builder or the carpenter or whatever that joke is. It says, you know, wherever that joke is, it says that, well, I'll just say, yeah, there's me. Okay, yeah, I need to stop telling crude jokes. I need to stop cussing so much. I need to catch myself more often. I do know better. You know, like Jesus, Yeshua, my Lord, when he was crucified on a cross, he cried out, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. And I don't know if I can pray that prayer or not. Honestly, I don't know if they know what they're doing or not. But I know better. And I'm still doing stuff. And I have a peace and assurance from God that is unbreakable. That it's all going to work out for my good and His glory. And go be who I made you to be. And don't hold back. And don't kowtow. And don't put yourself up for sale. Who are my sponsors? My sponsor is my stepdad. Not my mom, who does send money. My mom does send me money. My mama does help me. I love my mommy, and I'm sorry we're so strained right now because I'm haunted by the memory I have of her talking shit about my dad. And my whole life, everybody talks shit about my dad. And I know for sure that my dad was a monster, and I believe myself that pedophiles should be put to death. You know, I couldn't put down my dad, and my dad was always good to me. My dad was always good to me, and we had our moments for sure. I remember when I stole his dildo and brought it to school. Yeah, so many memories. Man, I'm telling you what, I really, really love this view. And I love Pilgrim Creek. Oh man, the righteousness has been so good to me, honestly. I'm so glad it worked out the way it did. I do believe in the will of God. And like I want to say, when I came up here in 2005, man, this was a dream come true. This was heading into my promised land. I wasn't even born again yet, but God was working in my life. I'd been going to church. I always thought I was a Christian. I hadn't been born again though. And I came up here to Montana, and I remember the day I met Tim Righteous, because it was the day I met Bonnie and Cass. And I'm sitting there at the picnic tables at Triangle Pond. Karen Carper had told me, go down to Triangle Pond. And I showed up for guide school, go down to Triangle Pond, and there's Tim Righteous. And Tim, and I was sitting at the picnic tables when he walked up, and he said, you know, well, oh, are you from around here? And I said, no, I'm from Oregon. Oh, what brought you here? I said, I'm going to guide school. And he was like, oh, who's guide school? And I said, well, Ray Hills Guide School. And Tim talked to me, and we went on a conversation about everything from littering to, and then I had no idea. But when he stood up and ended the conversation and left, he said, why don't you come talk to me when you're done with guide school about working for me? And I looked at him, I said, you're an outfitter? He said, yeah. And he walked off and drove off in that gold Subaru, or gold crew cab Ford. And like, I knew that, like I said, this is before I was born again. This is before any of that. I knew that that was a divine appointment. And I sat there as talking to Tim Righteous, as I watched two pretty high school girls. At this time, I'm 18 years old. And I see these two pretty girls, Bonnie and Cass. And I swim out, they're on the floating dock, I swim out there to meet them, introduce myself, and I'm like, hey, my name's Alton, I'm from Oregon. And, you know, Bonnie, very attractive brunette girl, and Cass, an even more attractive redhead. And this is the thing, I got to know Bonnie a little bit because her dad was a outfitter, and her grandpa was an outfitter, and it was like instant Twitter patient. I was, you know, I don't want to say in love, but I was infatuated. I was smitten by Ms. Bonnie Smith, and immediately, because she showed me pictures, you know, we were just talking like, I'm gonna become a hunting guide, and she's like, oh yeah, my dad and grandpa are hunting guides, and I'm like, or outfitters, and then she just shows me like pictures since she was a little girl of trophy animals, and then we went over to the softball park to play softball, and yeah, I was a decent ball player. And no shit, Bonnie Smith won my heart with how good she was on the field. It was like, this is Montana's version of Kim Hamilton. Yeah, Kim Hamilton was my dream girl in high school. And now, here's Montana's version. She's a killer. And I just in love. And anyway, what actually took place is so ridiculous. But that's how life goes. All I can say is it was a major failure to launch. That was my destiny. That was not my destiny. And very clearly, you know, things played out quite different. But I remember, I'll never forget when Cass, a gorgeous redhead, was like, hey, how old are you, 19? And I said, no, I'm 18. And she said, ooh, even better. And I directly answered back with, I like Bonnie. And Cass was cool about it. She was like, oh yeah, you know, a lot of us Montana girls are like that, but you and her, I mean, but I could tell, I just freaking hurt her badly. And I couldn't help it. There was only one. You know, I wasn't looking at all of them. I seen Bonnie. She was Montana's Kim Hamilton. I'll never forget the first time I laid eyes on Kim Hamilton. I just showed up from freaking California, moved to Oregon in 8th grade. I didn't grow up in Oregon. I moved there in the 8th grade. But I was walking down the hallway and I look up and like an angel had just stepped out of heaven, but she was wearing a see-through jacket and it was perfectly clear. I would owe it. It was an impression moment in my life, like, OMG, that is a beautiful woman. And Kim Hamilton didn't just look the part. That woman is still a tremendous athlete. But, like, I didn't have the balls to freaking ever go after my dream girls the way I wanted to. With Kim Hamilton, you know, I never did. And Kim even told me in high school, she's like, I think you're cute. And it's almost like it was the best and the worst moment of my life. You know, like, here's my dream girl telling me, giving me a compliment, but it was like a backhanded compliment because we were in the same class. And I remember freshman year when she was a freshman and I was a freshman. She wasn't dating other freshmen, you know. So when Kim said to me, I think you're cute, it was like, what the fuck do I do with that? I wish I would have been like, I think you're God's most beautiful creation. But I just was like, what the fuck? What the fuck does that mean? You know, and it sucks. I guess just the insecurity. And I wasn't really insecure, shit. I wasn't insecure. Fucking, I did everything. I don't give a shit. I'm really not insecure. However, with the hot beasts of the field. Like, I say beasts of the field. I don't know, it's funny. Like, there's a lot of different theologies out there. But some people feel that certain people weren't included in the lineage of Adam, but in the beasts of the field. And I don't believe that myself, but, you know, there's something to me and with the beasts of the field, I'll tell you that. My wife left me in 2020, and I was a broken-hearted guy, completely confounded, lost my mind, but really had prayed myself into a trance, and I was revealed things that are coming to pass now, and it gives me real faith, assurance, blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine. Yeah, I actually know things because my God has put me through a lot of stuff and has built me in a certain way where I'm not saying my heart don't jump or stuff like that, but I'm telling you, I'm in grizzly bear country right now. I'm in wolf country. I'm in black bear country. Every predator in North America lives right here. And I don't carry anything. I'm jogging way past the residences, up the mountain to my hunting spot, to where I stashed my jacket because I was starting to sweat yesterday morning when I took a friend hunting up there. So, really cool. My friend got a look at that bull. The big 6-point, I believe, was Broner. You know, I ran up on him in 30 yards and he just screamed twice, you know, and he seen me and he still bugled. He wasn't completely unvocal, knowing it's me, because I ran him down and I keep running him down. But he's the bull that came in to me. Either him or McGregor was, I believe, I hope that McGregor is one of the bulls I've wounded. I've wounded monster bulls here, and it's not something I'm proud of. And I feel very much like God brought me through life in such a way, especially since the first separation and being knocked mentally ill, all that shit. Especially since then, I have well, running saved my life. I kind of lost my train of thought, and sometimes that happens for a good reason. Never did that when I was a pastor, but it happens all the time when I'm a stoner. And I don't even like being a stoner, honestly, but I choose natural medicine. I can keep my shit together, stay out of the hospital, stay out of jail. All I need is a job that actually pays me and a good woman to build a family with. Because that more than boxing, more than hunting, more than preaching, more than anything, is what I've wanted to do my whole life, is build a family and keep it together and have a big family. And it hasn't worked out with the first two wives. And it's just to my shame. I'm not saying it's all their fault. I have my faults, no doubt. But the power struggle between husband and wife is all their fault. Because in 1 Peter 3, it tells wives, submit to your husbands in everything as to the Lord. And even those who do not obey the word, that they may be won without a word when they see the chaste and respectful conduct of their wives. However, Christianity back then was a new thing, and these women were trying to convert their husbands to the faith, and many of them were, maybe Jews or pagans or whatever. Christianity was a brand new thing, and Paul is telling them, how do you get along even if your husband's not a Christian? How to get along. Wives, let your husbands lead. And I don't know why that has become such a thorn in the side of women, because honest to God, I gladly submit my life to Jesus Christ, and I will do anything I believe Jesus has asked me to do. Something he asked me not to do, and but I certainly do the things, or try my best. But I'll tell you, I met Jasmine, and she was beautiful when I first met her. She looked like she could be from Braveheart, my favorite movie. She looked like she could have been my Mennonite. She could, this is Jasmine. Her name means the gift of God. And she was just beautiful to me. I was super lonely. I was super depressed. There goes the grass. Super lonely, super depressed. And Jasmine is the woman who actually showed up. I'd been talking with a lot of women, nice women, online, but Jasmine's the one who showed up. And she showed up the last day of hunting season last year. And I'm like, you want to go hunting? Because I know where the bull is. So I was heading up the mountain to go get this bull. And Jasmine's slipping and sliding and falling on her ass and out of breath. And I'm thinking of back when this was me and Damon and Ryan and Connor and Stephanie. And Damon's taking Stephanie up into the rough country cliff hunting. And I told him, man, that's not the best idea to do with a girl. And he's like, she's a Montana girl. So, anyway, I'm taking Jasmine up of our last day of last year. And she's slipping and sliding and out of breath and can't handle hiking, all this shit. But even though she was obviously out of shape and overwhelmed, we seen the bull and she begged me not to shoot. She begged me not to keep climbing after it. And I think that's the thing there. That first hunt together was a beautiful picture of what our whole relationship has been. And where I had real goals that I was going to achieve and was willing to go with anybody, and Jasmine's the person who wanted to go, and Jasmine couldn't handle doing what I wanted to do, going after my goals, and just wanted to hold me back. Because what about her? What about don't forget about me. This is our first time together. You're just fucking running me into the ground on a mountain. I can't do this. And I know, and I feel so bad because I could do that to almost any man. Any man. Just about. I mean, I'm not saying I can beat anybody, but there ain't very many people who can go on the mountain and run me into the ground. Not unless you're talking Nepal, not unless you're talking, you know, man. But I've ran those mountains in Nepal. I've been in the German Alps. I've been in the mountains of Cameroon, Africa, you know. But I've never spent any more time in any mountains than these mountains right here. And it's so challenging for me to give this up because this is a piece of heaven. This is part of my promised land. That was the whole thing. I knew when God was bringing me to Montana, He was bringing me. Well, I didn't know. I was willing to go anywhere. But when I showed up here and I looked around and I got to meet people and God showed me things, I knew. Yeah, maybe I didn't know. Because if I would have known that I was going to be here, I would have made a lot different choices. But as far as outfitters go, God blessed me with the best. And I ain't kidding. Tim Righteous was an ethical guy. Tim Righteous ran his outfit ethically. Very good ethics. You know, you didn't bombs away at everything. You had to get within 400 yards with a rifle. You didn't bomb away at every bull that ran through the woods. You had to be within 40 yards and have a broadside or quartering away shot that was clear, you know. And you didn't shit and not cover it. You didn't, you know, you hunted right. You didn't walk in behind people. You don't let anyone take over your spot, but if someone else beats you to a spot, you got to know the country good enough to have a plan B and a plan C and a plan D. And Tim and Connor have not only equipped me with all that, you know, as an outfitter, guide, relationship, but they have been very much, you know, people who came through for me when the rug was pulled out from under me, and I had lost my mind. But I believe this is all what God intended, and even though I'm not a Calvinist, I do believe much of this was meant to be, and I do believe even if I die up here on this jog, I will somehow fulfill God's destiny for me, because I've been sold out for my Lord